Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, He ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed His words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, His beloved Son. And by His word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give Him the stage, because He knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear I speak truth, I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell His story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. He opens up to me and shows me His glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth for Him I'm roaring, and the Spirit of the Lord goes before me. To the captive set free, that's reassuring. Over the years He strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking Him more. Am I ready for this? In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am His ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of His word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of His word before me.
Hey, gang, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. It's Monday, March 9th, and this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love sports on the Tom the Guy and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. And yes, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. On YouTube, our channel is Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, and you can contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. That's info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, we'd like to personally thank you guys for your prayers and your support to contribute to the show and our ministry. We sincerely thank you. With that, we appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating compelling content and spreading the word of God, our real job. Our business cash app is hashtag $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. We sincerely thank you, and may God bless you 100-fold return on the seed you sow into our ministry at the Tom the Bomb Show. Both me and Dr. Lauren appreciate it. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that He's already done, for all the wonderful things He's already done for us in 2026. The new things that are coming during 2026. Uh, our theme for 2026 is the year of discovery for grace for beyond, to infinity and beyond in 2026, so that we can be transformed to a level that none of us has walked in before, so that 2026 can truly be the best year of our lives. Amen. Amen. All right. And of course, our foundational scripture is still the same for the whole year of 2026. It's found in 2 Peter 3:18, and that's the Good News Translation Bible. And it says, "But continue to grow in grace and knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. To Him be the glory now and forever. Amen." To God be the glory, right, Dad? Yep, yep. Hey, gang, I'm pleased to announce our Community Hope Center at VCCI, Victory Christian Church International. We've started our grocery distribution program, and we're feeding 50 families in designated zip codes, okay, on the third Saturday of each month, the third Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. Eastern. Our location is at 7-7 Metropolitan Court in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And the zip code there is 20878. And it's open to all residents of the following zip codes: area code 20877, 20878, 20879, 20855, and 20882, and anyone that lives in Montgomery Village. Okay. It's on a first come, first served basis while supplies last. While supplies last. You can scan the QR code to register, or you can also register on site, but all participants must complete a registration form. You got to complete a registration form. Listen, our goal is to work up to 100 families. So be in agreement with us that we get to this goal. You know, we want to be a blessing to our community. You know, if the church is not a blessing to the community, then there's no reason for the church to be in the community at all. So we want to be a blessing to our community. So come on out if you're in need. If you even if it's somebody, it may not be yourself. You can um, re- add other families. Okay. Our trivia question our trivia question for today is: what school was the first undefeated NCAA men's national basketball champion? That's our trivia question. What school was the first undefeated NCAA men's national championship? That's our trivia question. And let's get to our poll question. Now, we're going to start the show off talking about our poll question. Our poll question today is: pick your starting five. The rest have to go home, but you can pick any five that you want. If you want two centers, I got to clarify this for Dr. Lauren. If you want two centers, you can have two centers. So we got Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal, forwards Timmy Duncan, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. At the shooting guards, we got Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. And at the point guards, we got Magic Johnson or Steph Curry. And I'm gonna kick this off. Felix, Troy, I'm gonna actually go first here. Okay? Yeah, honey. I'm
Okay.
gonna actually go first. Are you guys there?
Same.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go first. Okay. At center, I'm taking Akeem Olajuwon. At the forwards, I'm taking Larry Bird, Timmy Duncan, Larry Bird and Timmy Duncan, and I'm taking Michael Jordan and Steph Curry at my point guard. Felix, who's your five?
Okay, I know for a fact for my center, Team Olajuwon. I don't want to copy what you got, so I'm going to go with Shaq, more contemporary. I'm going to go with Stephen Curry. For a 3-point shooter, absolute must.
Mhm.
Then afterwards, I would go for. hmm, And you said all-time team, so I can't use and I am I allowed to use Jordan or James
You can
because that'll be too easy.
No, you got to use the guys in the group, Felix. The guys in the group. Uh, from the guys in the group. You want me to read them to you again?
Okay.
Uh, Akeem Olajuwon, Shaq. At the forwards, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. Shooting guards, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Point guards, Magic Johnson or Steph Curry. And you
Okay.
can pick your team however you want. If you want two or three centers, you can do that. What five are you starting?
Perfect. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure. I'm really big on accuracy, so I
That,
got.
that's what Lauren said.
So I got Mike. I got LeBron. I got Curry. Uh, and for centers, my two. Okay, Hakeem Olajuwon. Then I'm going to go with Larry Bird.
Is that five?
Did I get five?
I
You
don't know.
originally said Shaq, so are you scratching Shaq for Olajuwon?
Uh, you know what? I'll go back with Shaq. Thanks for catching that. Thanks for catching that. I'm off today. I
Troy, Troy,
apologize.
Troy,
Not
Troy,
gonna talk
Troy,
football right now.
Troy Felix wants to play with 6 guys.
So Shaq, Curry, LeBron, MJ.
Troy Felix wants to play with 6 guys. Troy, who's your 5?
Wait, what's the fifth one for Felix? Shaq, Curry, LeBron, MJ, and
Troy, what's your 5?
I got Magic at the point. I got Kobe at the 2. I got MJ at the 3. I got LeBron at the 4. I got Hakeem Olajuwon at the center.
Okay. All righty. All righty. And hey, to each his own. Everybody has their own flavor. We still want to hear from you guys out there. We've gotten some people have already posted on Facebook, but we still want to hear from you guys out there. Who's your 5? Who's the 5 that you like? We want to hear from you. You can post that on Facebook. You can go to you can email us at info@tomthebombsports.com, or you can post it on YouTube as well. All righty. Let's get it. Let's get to it, man. We got a lot to cover. The first big shoe is falling in the NFL free agency as Maxx Crosby has a new home with the Baltimore Ravens. Traded from the Raiders. Uh, the free Maxx Crosby T-shirts, they finally worked, Troy. Max wanted out of Las Vegas, and he's getting his wish. The Raiders will get a pair of first-round draft picks from the Ravens in 2026 and 2027. Baltimore had the 14th overall pick in the upcoming 2026 draft, and the Raiders wanted the Michael Parsons package deal, 2 first-round picks and a player. Uh, they smartly leveraged the Ravens against the Cowboys, but settled for just the 2 first-round picks for a player who wanted out. And the Cowgirls lose again as they offered a first-round pick and a second-rounder to the team that would never, ever, ever trade a number 1 first-round draft pick for a non-quarterback. It's the first time the Baltimore Ravens have ever done that, Felix. But let's face it, the Ravens needed Crosby in a really, really bad way. With only 30 sacks last season, their 30% pass rush win rate was ranked the 5th lowest in the NFL. My 49ers were the worst. The Ravens haven't had a legitimate edge rusher, Troy, since Terrell Suggs in 2017. So Max Crosby's importance in the rushing the passer, and what's really overlooked is his ability to step down and stop the run. His value at stopping the run is really overlooked because he simply doesn't leave the field. Unlike other edge specialists who are on the sidelines on early downs to save their legs, Max Crosby doesn't take plays off. He's like a starting major league pitcher that goes 9 innings every time he goes out. It's not just his Ironman endurance, though. He's long and strong with great instincts to the ball. He regularly splits double teams with his first step and has great balance, almost like a running back, which allows him to spring to the ball. It allows him to spring to the ball. In the last 4 seasons, Max Crosby had 45 tackles for losses against the run. The next closest edge rusher to that was Myles Garrett at 30 tackles for losses. At 29 years old, my question is, did the Ravens give up too much to get him, Felix?
Hmm. I
Did the,
would say no. Believe it or not, I'm going to say no. And I think that what the Ravens need, again, they struggled on defense. They actually struggled this year on defense. So I think what they're doing, the first step, you get that pass rusher. And also, I'd say the Ravens' biggest issue has really been how they strategize on offense. So I really think that, okay, no matter what the Ravens sacrifice, I don't think that those factors were really swinging games in their direction, you know. So that being said, I think the Ravens made a smart move in getting Crosby.
Troy, did the Ravens give up too much to get him?
No. Um, I look at it as I'm trying to win now.
Mhm.
Who is that pick that they gave up this year is going to come in and make an impact like Max Crosby?
Right.
Nobody in this draft.
I
Now,
agree.
when you got Lamar Jackson, when you got Derrick Henry, if you're not thinking win now, then you're in the wrong business. So I look at it as win-win. Baltimore doesn't have talent. They got talent all over the place on that defensive side, but now they got an actual leader outside of Roquan Smith who can come in and lead by example more so than his mouth. So when you see guys like that put in the work and put the time in the offseason to perfect their craft, it's going to help guys like Mike Green, who they drafted last year, to be able to pick up and learn from them.
Guys, the Las Vegas Raiders now have 11 picks in the 2026 NFL draft. Tom Brady and the Raiders brass have to ace this upcoming draft. They have to score big with a number 1 and a number 14 overall. If they do this right, they could wind up as a playoff team. Last year, Tom Brady flat out refused. He refused to sign Sam Darnold, taking Geno Smith and the hiring that I really hated, hiring Coach Pete Carroll. Well, we all know how that turned out. Brady and GM Spytech have a grade of an F so far. Now they just traded their best defensive player. So even though they have 11 picks in this upcoming draft, they're going to need veteran help. And while not sexy, they need to go after Pro Bowl center Tyler Lindblom. Now, I wrote this before everything was happening, and to my prediction to a T, the Raiders have signed Taylor Lindblom. I actually wrote this before they signed him. They need him to protect that number 1 QB Mendoza. Brady should know this, and then I'd be salivating for wide receiver Alex Pierce, free agent out of Indianapolis. But like I said, I wrote this earlier, and now Alex Pierce is re-signed with Indianapolis. But they need somebody to still take the head off the defense to open up the field for last year's first rounder Ashton Genty. I'd also be trying to steal Rashid Shaheed from the Super Bowl Seattle Seahawks. With the loss of Crosby, I'd be looking at 26-year-old Jalen Phillips with the defensive switching to a 3-4 defense. I also like Odafe Owen and Boye Mafe to improve their weak defense. With Max Crosby now gone, they need solid replacements on the defensive side of the ball. So their rebuild is definitely going to be through the draft, but they have to hit big in both free agency as well as in the draft. They need offensive linemen, they need receivers. I like USC wide receivers, Makai Lemon. I like them to pair him with Brock Bowers, Troy, and Arizona's Jordan Tyson. And also, I think it might be a good idea to reunite Mendoza with Indiana teammate Omar Cooper Jr. I love Miami's Francis Mauga as well. Troy, what's your thoughts on what you think the Raiders need to do with all these picks?
Get your quarterback at 1, get your star left tackle at 14. And then from there, take best available, find ways to plug in holes. The first 2 picks have to be home run. The best thing the Patriots could have did past 2 years was get their star quarterback and they get their featured left tackle, star left tackle,
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
So when you invest in mansion, you got to get security for that mansion. If you
Like
don't, anything happens, you're screwed.
mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it as the blind side has to get protected. You already went and got Taylor Lindbaum, so that helps with identifying pressure up the middle, whether it comes from blitz or stunts. But I look at it as you got to get protection for your star guy 14. And with so much skill and speed in this draft, I feel like a guy like Francis Moago or another, big time tackle in this draft is going to flip the 14.
Mm-hmm. Felix, what's your thoughts on the Raiders?
So I'd say first off, Odafe Owe, that plan's not going to work because he was snagged by the Washington Commanders.
You're so happy to say that, aren't you? You're so happy to say that, aren't you? I love it. He's singing again. You've been hanging around Tom the Bomb too much.
Yes, I have. Iron sharpens iron.
Man, this free agency frenzy with these players on the move and clubs deal. Listen, I was writing them all down and I had to just stop because it was happening so fast and furious. I just couldn't get it all written down for the show, man. So let's start off one by one. The Chiefs have signed Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, 3 years at $43 million, and they added much needed help up front in defensive tackle and Chris Tonga for 3 years with $21 million. What's your guys' thoughts? Troy, what's your thoughts on Kansas City so far?
It's great. Now they don't have to, rely on Kareem Hunt to be that main guy. He can just be that backup guy. Uh, when you go and get a star running back, it reminds me when they had Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes.
Mhm.
It's going to take pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. So when they need to go bully ball and they need 4 yards and control the clock, what better running back other than the Super Bowl MVP?
I love that. Felix, Travis Kelsey is also re-signed with Kansas City. What's your thoughts on Kansas City so far?
Again, they're doing a great job. I mean, I would have to say that Kelsey, he's definitely a person they have to keep there. He's one of the cornerstones of that offense. Then, secondly, with the running game, what you do, you're able to open up the playbook a little more, keep the defense guessing. Then, if you keep the defense guessing, that's where Mahomes is very dangerous. And even if you have a counter for Mahomes, like Troy just said, the Chiefs in the past when they had Priest Holmes, even a bit before they had Mahomes, you're saying they've had strong running backs historically. So what you can learn from history, running backs are a key part of offensive success. They give you the guaranteed high percent. The guaranteed,
Mhm.
not the guaranteed plays, but the safer conservative play option. So you have that in tandem with Mahomes' explosive big play options. Uh, Ability, then you can really get the best out of the Chiefs this year. And not to mention, I believe is also back in with the Chiefs, so keep an eye on them this year.
Well, you know what? You just took me right to my next question, really, really quick. Both of you guys answer this. I think I love Kenneth Walker the third, but I think their most important acquisition is their new offensive coordinator. Troy, what's your thought on getting their offensive coordinator back?
Without a doubt. Uh, when you get somebody that's known to produce the way he does and has camaraderie with your quarterback already and with your tight end and with your head coach, it saves the time of trying to get into a rhythm. You're already in a rhythm. So, now it's just picking off where they left off from.
Felix, I think Kansas City got soft without the enemy. What's your thoughts on that?
I kind of agree. I mean, I'd actually agree 100% because here's the thing. Eric, the Chiefs were already dangerous aside from the enemy. They're already one of the most talented offenses in the NFL. So I wouldn't exactly say soft, but they definitely were not at their fullest potential. But what I'm going to say about the enemy is this, right? To give you an idea. When the Chiefs have been at the helm or at the top of the NFL in terms of offense production over the last 7 going on 8 seasons. But their best year was under Eric Bieniemy, 2022. Patrick Mahomes had the most successful offensive season in NFL history.
Mhm.
Then on top of that, even when Bieniemy came here to Washington, he took our 4-13 team and had our quarterback leading the NFL in passing yards. Our 4-13 team, NFL, our quarterback leading passing yards, despite being under pressure for 76% of dropbacks. So if you take that kind of offensive coordinator, you give him a Patrick Mahomes, you give him a solid running back, you give him a Travis Kelsey. I'm just saying this Chiefs team is going to look absolutely nothing like it did in 2025.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this. Y'all think Tyreek Hill makes a comeback?
What?
He could.
I
Do
didn't hear
you
what.
think that Tyreek Hill makes a comeback?
I think so. I think so. I think so. You need Felix. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. We got a lot to cover today. Number two, the Colts come to their senses and they re-signed Alec Pierce to 4 years at 116 million, and they've also signed Arden Key 2 years for 20 million. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Colts so far?
Good job to bring back Alec Pierce. He turned up at the end of the season. He earned every dollar that he made.
Felix?
Yeah, you definitely want to sign the players. Again, you want to sign the people who take you to the dance, especially you talk about the running backs, you talk about the people who support your team. Even if your team has a hallmark of one way or another, you want to generally keep the nucleus of the team. Smart move.
The Cowgirls trade for Rashawn Gary from Green Bay, and they're actually adding some nice pieces since they've gotten rid of Michael Parsons. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Cowboys?
It's smart to get Rashawn Gary back side by side with Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark isn't going to be an every down defensive tackle, but they did a good job of taking, Green Bay's nucleus and, reimagining it through their defense. So I think Rashawn Gary's going to come in and make a huge impact.
Felix, quickly, what's your thoughts on the Cowboys?
I think it was a smart move them signing them signing that player. I don't exactly think he's going to turn the tide for the Cowboys, but they do. I would say that they have a solid defensive. I say over the past few years, they generally have had a solid defense, but they've gone wayward last year. But I think signing that player in particular, that's get trending them back into the right direction where they were before last year.
Okay, Eric Stokes re-ups with the Raiders for 3-year deal at 30 million, and they added wide receiver Jalen Naylor, Jalen Naylor at 3 years at 35 million. And just like I predicted, like I said, they signed center Tyler Linderbaum 3 years, 81 million. He is now the highest paid interior lineman in NFL history, the three-time Pro Bowler. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Raiders?
Very smart with Tyler Linderbaum. I think they could have held off on Naylor. They could have went and got a couple guys in the draft to keep that nucleus young. If they keep just building around Brock Bowers and Aston Glenty and Fernando Mendoza, they'll be fine.
Felix, quickly on the Raiders.
Well, I would actually say this. I actually like the Naylor acquisition, and he's actually someone I wanted for Washington, so I'm a little disappointed about that. But I would say that it's smart to get him and possibly draft a wide receiver one. You probably want Naylor on the opposite side, then draft a receiver one. So I don't really think that they have too much of an opportunity cost there. But I do see that they are trying to draft Mendoza, obviously. So the receiver that they would get in the draft, maybe not the best one, but I still think they have a chance to build that offense. So I think Naylor is a safe pick. Then you just go from there.
Well, remember they have 11 picks. And just like when Cincinnati signed their quarterback, they went back and got his receiver at LSU. I think, like I mentioned earlier, Omar Jr. is out there who played with Mendoza last year. So I think they're definitely going to get another receiver. Next, we got the Rams. The Rams have signed two DBs from Mother Wiggs, Kansas City Chiefs. They signed Trent McDuffie last week, and I don't know why the Chiefs let him get away. But they also signed Jalen Watson for 3 years at 51 million. And both were, and this, I think this is really key and smart. Man, the Rams are going to be tough. Both of these guys were drafted by the Chiefs in 2022. So they've been playing their whole career with each other. So automatically, the Chiefs, the Rams now have bookend cornerbacks to go up against those receivers at Seattle. Troy, what's your thoughts on this move by the Rams?
Iron sharpens iron. Um, Now you got Trent McDuffie and company going up against Nakua and Devontae Adams at practice every day. The offense and defense is going to be scary.
Felix, what's your thoughts on the Rams move?
I think it was a smart move because going back to what you said, you're talking about two cornerbacks who have been successful in the NFL and they have chemistry. So
Mhm.
essentially, they know, hey, when this guy's playing this type of zone, this guy's playing man coverage. I go here, or I know where to cut off the zones gaps, or excuse me, the parameter of my zones, things of that nature. And they're really small things that can be the difference between converging on a ball, getting a big play, getting the big interception, and possibly letting one loose for a touchdown going the other way. So I definitely think getting two proficient corners from the same system, smart move. And I would say, yeah, that's definitely a good thing to do if you're in the same division with the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay, now the Colts have traded.
Speaking of which, I know you're trying to get through it quick. Breaking news: Rashid Shaheed just re-signed with the Seahawks.
Rashid Shaheed. Okay, all righty. Man, that was them. I thought they'd be crazy not to let him go. Yeah, go ahead and do that, Troy, because I wasn't able to get them all in. The Colts have traded wide receiver Michael Pittman to the Steelers to now pair up with DK Metcalf, and the Steelers also picked up cornerback Jamel Dean from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 3 years at 37 million, and then they re-signed Asante Samuel Jr. to pair with Porter Jr. The Steelers have now turned a weakness, which was their secondary, into a strength. What's your thoughts on what the Steelers have done, Troy?
It's all right. I think they're going to have their first losing season in a long time this year.
Oh wow, 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 that's strong. Felix, can you jump on that quickly?
I concur.
Really, you both think the Steelers are going to have losing seasons?
I
Should have
mean,
got rid of Mike Tomlin. I mean, well,
yeah,
actually, no, not got rid of. The moment that Mike Tomlin left, they're going to have a losing season.
Okay, and you
yeah,
feel the
because the
same way,
chemistry's
Felix?
gone. Yeah, because here's the thing: the Steelers. I have to be honest with you. that's a team that was barely getting by even with the talent that they had. So you take away one of the best coaches. I have to give him his props in terms of winning percentage. He's an all-time future Hall of Famer. If the Hall of Fame system is worth anything, so you take him away from that system, the Steelers are going straight down.
You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I guess that's what we're saying, right?
Yeah,
The Bucks resigned tight end Kate Otten, but they lose Jamel Dean and Mike Evans. What's your thoughts on Tampa Bay so far, Felix?
definitely definitely smart moves. And again, I see Tampa Bay. They're a team that sees what they have going for them, and they're just trying to build, not just build, maintain it, but build upon it with acquisitions. Making sure you keep the players who kept you and who brought you to the dance. So again, smart moves from Tampa.
Troy, what's your thoughts on Tampa Bay?
Mike Evans was supposed to retire a Buccaneer. You don't let Mike Evans go. I think, from the standpoint of who's going to replace him, they got talent, but they're going to miss Mike Evans.
Okay. The Falcons bring back wide receiver Olamide Zacchaeus, and they add wide receiver Jahan Dotson, two ex-commanders. Dotson gets 2 years and 15 million, and they're likely to sign Tua. They did just sign Tua, didn't they? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think they did just sign Tua. Felix, what's your thoughts on the Falcons bringing in the ex-commanders and bringing in Tua?
I think the Falcons, they're that's another team that is building up. They know what they're doing, and of course, they couldn't really get out of the starting gate last year. But I saw what they had with London. I saw what they had with B. John Robinson. So now you add those two solid receivers. Now you have one of the best receiving cores in the NFL, just like that. On top of that, you're signing Tua. You just keep him healthy. He's dangerous. I mean, so I think the Falcons definitely a team to look out for. The NFC South is going to be a volatile division in 2026.
Mhm. People forget that the Falcons were three missed field goals from winning that division outright.
Exactly.
And they did sign a new kicker. I think they got, matter of fact, I think the guy used to kick with Commanders. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Falcons? Troy?
Question mark for me. I don't really know what they're going to do. I feel like with everything they got going on, the quarterback position is confusion. So, I think middle of the season will make it a little easier sense to kind of predict. But right now, it's a question mark for me.
Well, the kid is hurt. That's one of the reasons they're bringing in Tua. Now, the other thing is, and I don't know if these are rumors or not, but I've been seeing rumors, and it's how the fake news is out there, that they're already unhappy with Kevin Stefanski already after 40 days. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Shame on them.
Well, he doesn't seem to like their young quarterbacks, Kevin Stefanski. So I don't know if he just got a problem with certain types of quarterbacks, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Uh, let's leave it at that. Hey, the Patriots signed Draymond Jones 3 years, 39 million, and fullback Reggie Gilliam for 3 years for 12 million. Troy, you like what the Patriots are doing?
Yes, I do.
Felix, what's your thoughts on the Patriots?
Yep, smart moves, smart moves.
Smart move. All righty. My 49ers are looking to trade all pro Trent Williams. They can't seem to be able, well, they don't want to trade him, but they can't seem to get the contract done. And if they do trade him, they're going to be hit with a $34 million cap loss. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But they did sign Mike Evans for 3 years at 60 million. He did beat Joe Lewis. What's your thoughts on Mike Evans going to my Niners? Troy?
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. This guy's gonna come in and even at an older age, like Jerry Rice, still come in and produce 1,000 yards and 10+ touchdowns. Um, this is a blessing in disguise because with Brandon Ayuk gone last year,
Mhm.
other guys had to step up. Now guys, like Ricky Pearsall don't have to worry about being the number one guy,
Mhm.
or Dewan Jennings being the number one guy. That's definitely gonna be Mike Evans.
Well,
So
Juwan Jennings is out. They're losing Juwan Jennings also, Troy.
well, even still,
Uh-huh.
even with Ricky Pearsall, even with other guys that they
Right,
don't have to worry about being that number one guy.
right.
So now the offense opens up. George Kittle doesn't have to worry about getting double teamed. It's going to make their offense flow even better.
Yeah, and that's going to make it easy for Mike Evans having for Christian McCaffrey. What's your thoughts on Mike Evans going to the Niners, Felix?
They, remember what I said about San Francisco the entirety of last year? They were already a very dangerous team, even when injured. Now they're going to come back healthy. They're going to come back with that solid coach in Mike Shanahan, who and again, I have not changed my opinion. I still think he should have been coach of the year. He is
I
in my
agree.
book.
I
Now
agree.
you're going to give him. Now you're going to give him Mike Evans. Now injuries aside, he's been playing solid football. He has not missed a beat, and he was dealing with injuries even when he was playing some solid football in the last 2 years. So again, San Francisco definitely. I'll say this: Seattle's number one spot in the NFC West. It is not safe at all.
Mhm. Look for my 49ers to build up the defensive line again. I know Bosa's coming back, but look for them to bolster up that defensive line. They were the worst in the league in quarterback sacks with like 23 or something like 20. The Commanders signed cornerback Amik Robinson. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus. They need cornerbacks like we need water. Okay. Felix, what's your thought on your Commanders signing Amik Robinson? 2 years at 16 million.
Well, I had other names in my proverbial hat for the cornerback position, but I trust that the team knows what it's doing. My only
You
question
do?
is why, huh?
You do trust him? I don't trust Washington. I trust Washington as far as I could throw a king size mattress up a spiral staircase. That's how much I trust them.
I would say this though. If I were the GM, I would have definitely started making those phone calls as soon as it struck 12 o'clock. As a matter of fact, I would have been more proactive. And I think Washington, they should have focused more on cornerbacks because again, they did make some they did make some acquisitions. They signed Owe. They signed I'm not sure if you remember Tim Settle. He's back on the roster. So they really zeroed in on pass rushers or the front seven,
Mhm.
but I think they should have put that energy on corners. I think that was a huge misstep there. I think that defensive, in terms of pass rushers, Washington's good for the most part. You just need one guy from free agency, one guy from the draft. But I think the free agency should have been centered around defensive backs. I think Washington did this entire process backwards. But do I still think they can get an upside for this? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But they just didn't do it in the. I say they just didn't do it in the. What's the word I'm looking for? They didn't do this in the optimal way.
Okay. I think they need a lot more. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Commanders so far?
Love the fact that they re-signed Larry Tunsil to a 2-year $60 million contract extension. Bring a guy in from Detroit's culture in the past couple of years. That's huge. Looking at Owe, he can, rush the passer. He can play in coverage. He has sub 4.4 speed. So to think, of the versatility of which you can use him, we're doing things okay. There's still some things that we got to get covered, but we're moving in the right direction.
All right. The Bears have signed linebacker Devin Bush 3 years to 30 million, and they added cornerback Kobe Bryant from the Super Bowl Seattle Seahawks. Felix, what's your take on what the Bears have done?
The Bears, again, like I've said, the Bears are already a strong team. They're finding their identity and they're actually working towards finding their full potential. So I think again, Bears they're just trending upwards. So again, smart moves there, smart moves, and I think it's just going to add on to their overall success I've seen them build upon as of late.
Troy, real quick on the Bears. They lost their all-star center. He retired. What's your take on the Bears so far?
They lost him and they lost DJ Moore. So,
Mhm.
it's going to be a couple of things that they got to replace on that offense. But I think
Thank
they're
you.
fine. Last year wasn't a fluke. Ben Johnson, as the guy in charge of the offense, as a whole, they'll be fine.
Troy, they let DJ Moore go so they can open it up for Luther Burton III. That's why they let DJ Moore go. Because
I know that.
yeah,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
I think you're going to see him step up and fill that role right. The Jets signed defensive tackle David Onyemata 1 year at 10 million, and then they trade for Michael Fitzpatrick. What's your thoughts on that, Troy?
It's cool, but can they score on offense? That's all I care about. If they can't score, the defense can't win the games alone. So we'll see.
Felix, what's your thoughts on the Jets so far?
The Jets have a lot of work to do.
They
I
do.
mean, that's really hard for me to say. I mean, honestly speaking, the Jets are a team that I can't speak on until they finish the free agency process, until they finish the draft. Because again, based on what I see right now, even if they do make a good move here and there, I can't really expect the proverbial tide to change unless I really see something concrete. Because this was a team that was struggling when they had something going for them, and they still found a way to move several steps back last year. So It's just one of those things.
Okay, we got the Titans signing wide receiver Wandale Robinson, 4 years at 78 million. How you guys like that? Yes or no?
78 million.
78 million for 4 years for Wandale Robinson, wide receiver from the Giants.
Um, I like the acquisition. Don't really like the dollar amount there. That's not something I would do.
Troy, you okay with
Okay.
that one?
Same thing. People said I agree 100%. Great acquisition, but you're giving up a little much to get him.
All right. The Saints go big, signing running back Travis Etienne, 4 years, 52 million, and guard David Edwards from Buffalo for 4 years at 61 million. Man, the Jacksonville Jaguars got to miss that guy. Troy, what's your thoughts on the Saints so far?
I think Travis Etienne getting let go is huge on Jacksonville's part. They're trying to find a way to get some juice back on offense. I think Alvin Kamara's time there is done. And yes, I just think even with this acquisition, they still got a lot of work to do.
So, Felix, you don't think they're going to team them up? You think, like Troy said, they may be moving Alvin Kamara? What's your thoughts, Felix?
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, you understand, he's nearing 10 years at the running back position. I'm actually surprised he's still going. So the way I see it, I mean, I didn't mean to say that so bluntly, but we know the nature of the running back position in the NFL. And ETN, I think ETN's a solid pick for the Saints. I would say I like that move. So they might move on from Kamara, but I think they can afford to, obviously. But ETN, I think he perfectly complements what New Orleans is getting into. They're moving back into the pass-heavy identity.
Okay, the Arizona Cardinals signed running back Tyler Algier, 2 years, 12 million. You guys like that? Yes or no? We got to speed it up. Yes or no? You guys
Oh,
like that?
Algier, that guy's dangerous. That's a very smart move by Arizona. I like that.
Troy?
Uh,
Okay, he says yes. Uh, the Lions signed center Cade Mays, 3 years, 25 million. They needed to plug that gap. Let's talk about this one. Malik Willis to the Dolphins, 3 years at 68 million. We know I thought he was the best free agent quarterback in the group. Felix, what's your thoughts on Malik Willis?
Can you say that again? My signal's really.
Malik Willis to the Dolphins, 3 years at 68 million. I felt like he was the best free agent quarterback out there. What's your take on
Oh,
Malik going
Malik
to the
Willis.
Dolphins?
That's actually the perfect move because when I saw Malik Willis play towards the end of last year, I thought to myself, you put him on a lot of almost any other team, Malik Willis is definitely a starter. So I think Miami, they definitely, I would dare to argue, and I say that, and I speak very highly of Tua, they may have actually upgraded from
Yeah.
him.
Troy, what's your thoughts on Malik?
well deserved. He earned it, and I want to see him do well.
Mhm. The Giants signed linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, and they added tight end Isaiah Likely, 3 years at 40 million. Troy, what's your thoughts on the G-Man?
Making splashes. Harbaugh got his guy from Baltimore. I think that they're going to be scary next year.
Felix?
Smart move. Again, like when Malik Neighbors is healthy, you're going to have likely in the tight end position. Then, of course, you're going to have a strong running game and their passing game. Again, I would say it's an underrated aspect of their team. So, like I said about New York, I expected their receiver to be healthy last year, but I'd say what I said about them heading into last year, I think is going to be true for them this year.
Guys, I miscalculated. We could have done this whole show on the NFL free agency alone. We got to move on. But here are the teams with the most cap space. The Raiders have 112 million in cap space. The Titans have 93 million in cap space. You guys, Commanders have 88 million in cap space. The Chargers have 75 million in cap space, and the Jets have 74 million in cap space. Hey, gang, we got to take a quick break, and then we're going to be right back with some NBA and college basketball. We'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and insatiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
And we're back. Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox fueled a dominant performance as the San Antonio Spurs thrashed the Houston Rockets 145 to 120. Where's the D? Where's the defense? For the Spurs' fourth straight victory, Wemby had 29 points and De'Aaron Fox added 20 points and 10 assists. Stephon Castle added 23 points for the San Antonio Spurs, which have now won 15 of their last 16 games. Kevin Durant and Amen Thompson had 23 points each for the Houston, but played no defense, allowing a season high of 145 points. This is why I don't watch the NBA during the regular season. The Spurs at 47 and 17. The Spurs have now won the season series against the Rockets 3-1, and they've strengthened their hold on the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. Houston is 39 and 24, and they dropped into the fourth spot in the West, a half game behind Minnesota at 40 and 24, and 7 games behind San Antonio in the loss column. San Antonio had 38 assists, 38 assists while shooting a season high, 58% from the field and 53% from the three-point line. But everything started with the 7'4" All-Star Wembanyama. Man, this guy impresses me every time I see him. He is flat out must-see TV. He was 9 for 13 from the field, including a reverse dunk through contact that resulted in a three-point play. Wemby opened the game with a three, and he closed the half with a three. Troy, what more superlatives can we say about Wemby? Troy?
Uh, the best player under 25 in the league, without a doubt. But I want to take time and not talk about really Wemby. I want to talk about how they beat Houston yesterday.
Okay.
They made sure to take the ball out of Kevin Durant's hands as soon as before he crossed half court line. They were looking to double him. They were looking for someone else to beat them. And until like the end of the third quarter, Houston had no rhythm on offense because they couldn't get their star guy really flowing. Now he finished 7 for 12 from the field, but if there's any way to slow down Houston, San Antonio showed the like
league
map how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Dylan Harper, I look at Keldon Smith, and I'm just looking at them as okay, defensively, they're big enough to be able to switch between a 2-3 in the point guard position. And as a defensive unit, this team is scary. They run the fast break well. De'Aaron Fox is still a top 5 speedy point guard in the league in regards to speed and foot quickness. So being able to run the break after getting a block, being able to run the break after a turnover, being able, to capitalize in transition, the Spurs are scary.
Troy, with their ball movement, didn't they remind you of the old San Antonio Spurs with Timmy Duncan,
Yeah,
Parker?
without a doubt. They had 3 guys. They had 2 guys drop 28 points. Wemby went off. I'm looking at it as this team. They don't really. Was Wemby being the center guy? No pun intended. The outside is whoever is hot and whoever has the ability to make a play. That's who's going to get the call. So San Antonio looks good.
Felix, I know San Antonio's very young. I think they can win it all this year. What's your thoughts, Felix?
Wow, that's a bold take. Now, I would say that San Antonio could possibly win within the next few years. They definitely have the talent. And we saw the former champ, or well, the reigning defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, have some trouble with the Spurs earlier this year. And it wasn't just that one game and where they stopped the Thunder from having a record, but I believe that they won the season series against the Thunder. So this is no fluke. Spurs are dangerous. Now, the only thing is, do they really, like you say, do they have the experience and chemistry, that experience in their chemistries and vice versa to win a playoff series? That's the only thing that's left in a question. But can't do they have the talent to possibly do this very soon down the line? Absolutely.
Nat Wood says Wimby is the real deal. He said he's absolutely the real deal. And I saw this gal on TV say this, and I laughed because it was funny, but I really felt like it's true. He says every time I see Wimby, he seems to get an inch taller. And what he was saying was his game is getting bigger and bigger every time you see him. He's you see him and he's like, oh, he blows my mind. And then the next time you see him, he's better. This guy is scary, man. This guy is scary. Listen, with Jason Tatum uh, back and playing, are the Celtics now the team to beat in the East? I say yes, Troy. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Troy, I agree.
Ab-
Go ahead, man.
Absolutely.
Felix, you think so as well?
Absolutely, because here's the thing with the Celtics. They were already among the best teams in the Eastern Conference, even in Tatum's absence. Now, here's the thing. Do I think Tatum should be playing this season given his injury? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
But the fact that you have a player like him, an X factor, being added to the fray, he's someone who can account for not just double digits, but can probably carry 20, 30, if not 40 points for the team in certain games. You're talking about the Celtics possibly repeating a 2024 season.
Mhm. Nat Wood says the Celtics believe in each other and they can win it all this year. I'm in agreement with Troy and Nate. I think they're the team to beat in the East. I think there's New York. Of course, Detroit has been leading the way, but to me, I think Detroit is the team that's still young, and I think that Celtic experience plus adding Tatum back in. I would agree with you and Dr. Lauren. I didn't think he should come back, but now that he's back, he's back. Hey guys, listen. The statistics say, and these are statistics. This is not Tom the Bomb. The statistics say that the Lakers are better without LeBron in the lineup. They are 9-2 with Luca and Austin Reeves, and they have a losing record when LeBron is in there. Is this just too small of a sample? Troy, are the Lakers better without LeBron in the lineup?
I mean, I look at it as when LeBron's on the court, they become a little lackadaisical defensively, and it's no knock on LeBron. LeBron's 41,
Hmm.
40 plus years old, man. So, I think on the defensive side, when he's on the court, I mean, I don't know. I feel as if, it's time for Luka to step up and really become that two-way player. And I think
That ain't never gonna happen.
offensively,
That ain't never. Luca's gonna become a two-way player when Tom the Bomb is considered skinny.
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't
That's,
do that. Here's why I say that, man. Defense is all effort, man. If you show effort, if you rotate, if you talk, you can play defense.
look,
And if
I'm
you don't got
Troy. I'm trying, but I'm not gonna be skinny. Okay. just, just,
to guard him, and why you stop talking down and stuff like that too. So.
I'm just, I'm just. Felix, what's your thoughts with the Lakers and Luca and Austin Reeves versus LeBron being in that lineup? Because
Believe it or
the
not,
statistics. Go ahead.
I think this boils down to chemistry, and it can be players feeling overconfident, feeling they don't have to do their part when LeBron's on the court. I think that there's certain schemes that bring out the best out of every player versus certain schemes that heavily emphasize LeBron. And I've kind of noticed this pattern in different teams. So again, I don't mean to bring Washington into everything, but I noticed one time with the Wizards, Bradley Beal was injured one point. The Wizards were they were on the best streak that they had in 2018. And, there was a point where they had They had Beal. I wish LeBron, but Beal, Wall, and Westbrook on the same team, and they were struggling. So yeah, sometimes it boils down to what plays are being called, and there's a lot that goes into it. Chemistry, like you say, it's a big factor, and it's not as simple as having the best player on the court all the time.
Mhm. What do you guys think it is? Nat Wood, who is a Lakers fan, he feels like that LeBron should be the sixth man and should come off the bench, and he thinks that would make the Lakers better. Troy, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. I agree to an extent. You can't just bench LeBron, but if you bring him as a sixth man, you can be aggressive. You can play him for 22 minutes and you can just worry about scoring. When LeBron gets in a mode where I'm going to put the ball in the basket, he's still LeBron James. So, that makes sense.
Felix, what's your thought on LeBron as the sixth man?
Objectively, that's actually a great idea. The only problem is the optics. When you do something like that, you're going to draw all the attention. And if it doesn't pan out as a coach, you're risking your job. You're going to get panned by the media. You're messing up the PR of the Lakers. But the thing is that from an objective standpoint, that would make sense because your team is talented enough that you can say, okay, I'm going to divide the effort between the top players outside of LeBron and LeBron himself with some players, kind of like, and I don't mean to mix sports here. That's what they do with hockey lines. Like, there's no real quote unquote starting lineup. You're using different lines for different sets of talent. You might have a shooting line. You might have a checking line for your more physical players. Then you might have a balance line. So that's something that could work. But again, I don't think it's going to go over well. So the coach is not going to do that because, again, if it doesn't work, that's his job because there are too many eyes on them.
Mhm. Well, let me ask you this. Do you guys think that LeBron's ego is too big to be the sixth man? Troy, what's your thoughts on that?
Yes.
In this scenario, no.
Okay.
That guy wants a championship.
Okay.
And just like Felix said with hockey, when you can have the two main guys being Austin Reeves and Luca on offense coming out, being able to get shots up, when LeBron comes in, he doesn't feel like he has to sit back and get everybody else involved. He just worry about himself.
So, Felix, that was an adamant yes on your part. You want to expand on that?
Right. So I would say that LeBron James, I mean, I have to be honest, from an objective standpoint, yeah, it would make sense. But I think the way he'll perceive it, he sees what's going on with the team. If he sees himself in a position of not starting, he's automatically going to go to, do you know how hard I've worked, what I've suffered, what I've sacrificed for, being here? All of a sudden I'm getting benched. So I wouldn't even say it from the ego standpoint. I would say that someone who's put as much work as LeBron did, just hearing you're benched, even like minus context, any person realistically would not respond to that well. And if he requests a trade for 1 second, every team is going to come after him. He's gone. So they don't want to chance it. But I 100% hear what you said, though.
Okay. One more. One more. Is LeBron James in Los Angeles next year, Troy?
Uh, I think he's in Cleveland.
Okay. Felix, is LeBron in LA next year?
Hardest question I've heard today, and I say probably no. I say he's not in LA next year.
Okay. I said one more. I got one more. So if LeBron is not in LA next year, is Bronny in LA next year? Troy?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. Okay.
Stop playing with that man name,
Okay.
man.
All right. Okay. All right. All right. So Felix, if LeBron goes, you think Bronny's gonna still be in LA?
That's a harder question than the first one. He probably won't be.
Okay. All righty. All righty. Hey, gang, the Illinois Fighting Illini get back on track, beating the Maryland Terrapins 78-72 at the Xfinity Center in College Park, Maryland. The victory allowed the Fighting Illini to secure a triple bye and a top four seed in the upcoming 2026 Big Ten tournament. The regular season finale was a tightly contested battle where Illinois ultimately pulled away in the final minutes. Illinois freshman star David Merkovich led the team with a double-double, 22 points and 11 rebounds, played great. Maryland's Andre Mills scored a game-high 30 points in the losing effort. He was on fire. Illinois completed its first regular season sweep of Maryland since the Terrapins joined the Big Ten in 2014. Illinois previously defeated Maryland 89-70 earlier on January 21st. Maryland is now scheduled to play Oregon in the first round of Tuesday of the March 10th in the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. Maryland had this game. You know, they could have won this game. They let it slip away. Maryland's season has been plagued by scoring droughts, but on Sunday, Maryland succeeded in going back and forth with a ranked opponent, Illinois. But basically, size essentially was the difference in the paint. Once Maryland's big, once Maryland big, Solomon Washington got into foul trouble, and the Terps missed. They missed his defensive presence in the middle. So the Illini had their way with him down low in the paint. Illinois looks like they're set up for a big disappointment, not only in the Big Ten tournament, but an NCAA tournament again. You know, I'm a huge Illinois fan, but I don't see this team doing very much in the tournament. I don't. What was your guys' thoughts on Illinois and Maryland, Felix? Felix,
Oh,
what's your thoughts on Illinois and Maryland?
so I'd say it was a match between two of the best teams in the NCAA. Really out of that one, and it was a close game too, hard fought,
It was.
and it really just came down to the wire. So Illinois goes back to what I said about them. I mean, I believe that you had some concerns about them last week's episode. They knock off Maryland, and Maryland's no joke in their own right. So that being said, I mean, there was a lot more basketball to be played. You know, we're just getting started with everything. But like I said, hard fought game between two pretty solid programs, and Illinois, like I said last week, I mean, I think that they're ready. They're going to do as well as they can in this upcoming tournament.
You're such a nice guy, Felix. Troy, what's your thoughts on Illinois and Maryland?
This is a huge win for Illinois. They've lost a few heartbreaking games in the past couple weeks. And I look at it as before the tournament, you got to find a way to find a spark. They did that. Their 7-footer finally stopped shooting
Threes.
3 plus threes. You know, he took two, but for the most part, the best shooter took the most threes, and that's how it's supposed to be. You know, you got to find a way to score points and get buckets the easy way at this level. And when they change their mindset, they're a different team. If they go out and try to like spread the floor and get the big super involved from the 3-point line, that's when they go downhill. When they play more physical, when they get to the rim, when they look to get to the free throw line, it makes it then that much easier for them to want to play the style that they play.
Yep, I agree. Totally agree. Man, it's getting that time of the year. We're getting close to the Masters. Akshay Bhatia runs down Daniel Berger in a playoff to win the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Man, it's hard to win on the PGA Tour. Let me take you guys back to some golfers that we've been rooting for in the past who had a hard time getting over the hump and getting into the winner's circle, like Tony Finau, like Tommy Fleetwood, and now Akshay Bhatia. What's interesting for those of you who've been following the Tom the Bomb Show, shortly after putting these guys in our scope, they've all broke through shortly after for big wins. And Akshay Bhatia gets his first signature win on the PGA Tour. It's his third win overall, but this is his first big signature win at the Arnold Palmer Invitation. The final round was a thriller. Dr. Lauren even liked it. Daniel Berger had been leading wire to wire and looked like he had this tournament won with a 4-shot lead at the turn. He lost the lead when he missed a 7-foot par putt on the 17th hole, and then Patia took advantage of the miss. They both finished at 15 under at 273 going into the playoff. Arnold Palmer is famous for saying, "You must play boldly to win." And Akshay Bhatia followed that script on Sunday for a stunning comeback and a playoff win at Arnie's house. Bhatia started his back nine charge with 4 straight birdies, and then he nearly holed his 6-iron, throwing a dart on the par 5 16th hole inside of 3 feet for an easy eagle that really spun him and got his momentum going. That was enough to run Daniel Berger down and force the playoff. He then ousted Berger with a par on the first extra hole to win at Bay Hill. Patia's final round, 69, was enough for his third PGA Tour title. Interesting, all three of his wins have been in playoffs. The win moves the 24-year-old gunslinger into the official top 20 world rankings, along with the first place check of $4 million. Uh, let's not feel too bad for Daniel Berger, though, as he takes home the consolation prize of 2.2 million bucks for finishing seconds. Say it with me. Get your kids out playing golf. Come on, man, for 4 days' work. Hey, gang, it's time for our segment of the show called the Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week. And we're a sports talk show from a Christian point of view, and our theme has always been do you want to win at all costs? Because sometimes you win, but you lose, and sometimes you lose, but you win. Okay. So how we win and lose in life truly matters. And this is really the only importance of sports. It really is. So hey gang, I don't know if you guys know this, but March is National Women's Month. Did you guys know that? And our Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week is Minnie Cox. Okay. In in Mississippi Delta at the end of the 19th century, power was supposed to look one way: white, male, and untouchable. But in 1891, the federal government placed a black woman in charge of something that the town relied on every single day. And the moment she proved she was excellent at her job, the town's white power structure decided that excellence itself had become a threat. A black woman in charge of a federal authority. In 1891, Minnie Cox was appointed postmaster of Indianola, Mississippi, a federal position responsible for managing mail distribution, supervising staff, and maintaining one of the most essential services in any American town. At the time, the post office was more than a building. It was the heart and beat of communication. Bills moved through it, business correspondence, government documents moved through it, and family news traveled through it. So whoever ran the post office held real influence, power, and responsibility. And Minnie Cox ran it exceptionally well. Local reports described Indianola Post Office as efficient, organized, and dependable under her leadership. Residents trusted her hard work. The mail arrived on time, and that's all we want the mail to do, right? The mail arrived on time. Records were accurate, service was professional. In other words, she did exactly what the federal government expected. And that was the problem because Mississippi in the 1890s was deep inside of the Jim Crow era period when white supremacist laws and customs were designed to push Black Americans out of political and economic power. So a Black woman running a federal office, man, that disrupted the hierarchy. So when excellence becomes a target, okay, at first, many residents simply tolerated Minnie Cox's presence. But as the years passed, resentment grew. White supremacist newspapers began criticizing the idea that a black woman held that kind of authority over white citizens. Local political leaders argued that the town's dignity was being undermined. The hostility slowly turned into intimidation. Threats began circulating, pressure campaigns began, and community leaders demanded her removal. Okay. Now, the message was loud and clear, and it didn't matter how well she performed her job. Uh, a black woman in power, that's just unacceptable. Okay. Especially in the Jim Crow South, facing escalating threats to her safety and the safety of her family. Minnie Cox submitted her resignation in 1902, not because she had failed, because hatred had made her position dangerous. But the story doesn't end there. When the president of the United States refused to back down, the president at the time was Theodore Roosevelt. Roosevelt believed strongly in federal authority, and he saw the attack on Minnie Cox as something bigger than just a local dispute. Okay, gang, time out. Can you imagine our current president doing that? Okay. To President Roosevelt, it was three things. It was three simple things. Number one, racism. Number two, mob intimidation. And number three, most importantly, a challenge to federal law. If a town could drive out a federal officer through threats and harassment, then the rule of law itself was weakened. So President Roosevelt made a decision that shocked the country. He refused to accept Minnie Cox's resignation. Instead, he kept her on the federal payroll. And when the white residents of Indianola still refused to accept her authority, President Roosevelt escalated the conflict in a way no one expected. President Roosevelt ordered the Indianola post office closed entirely, and mail service was suspended to the town while still paying Minnie Cox. Okay, the town's letters and packages were rerouted to nearby towns nearly 30 miles away. Businesses could not receive orders, farmers couldn't send shipments out quickly, and communication slowed to a crawl. The economic and social consequences hit Indianola immediately, like the Great Wall of China. Local merchants complained. Residents now they're protesting. The newspapers across the country began reporting on the dispute. President Roosevelt's message was unmistakable. If the town wouldn't accept the authority of a qualified Black postmaster, then the town would not receive the benefits of a federal post office at all. So, for months, Indianola remained cut off, and the embarrassment spread nationwide. Okay, and it wasn't on their side. A victory that echoed beyond one town. Eventually, pressure mounted. Indianola's leaders realized the situation was damaging. It was damaging their economy and their reputation. The town finally backed down. Minnie Cox returned to her rightful position. Her victory was more than personal. It was one of the earliest moments in American history when the federal government openly, openly confronted racial intimidation in the defense of a Black woman's leadership. And it sent a signal across the South that Black excellence couldn't always be pushed aside. After leaving the post office years later, Minnie Cox didn't fade away quietly into history. Instead, she turned her attention towards something even more powerful: economic independence. In the early 20th century, Black communities, Black communities across the South were building institutions designed to protect themselves from discrimination in white controlled financial systems. Okay. Minnie Cox became a big part of that movement. She helped establish the Delta Penny Savings Bank, one of the early financial institutions created to help Black citizens save money, to secure loans, to build businesses. She also helped found the Mississippi Life Insurance Company, which provided insurance coverage for Black families who were often denied services by white insurance companies. Okay. These institutions were not just business, they were tools of survival. During the Jim Crow era, Black communities often had to build parallel economies when mainstream institutions excluded them. Minnie Cox understood that real leadership meant more than holding a title, it meant creating opportunities that could outlast discrimination. Minnie Cox's life is the legacy of a quiet revolutionary. Her stories rarely appear in school textbooks, yet her life reveals something powerful about Black history in America. Black women have often been pioneers of leadership long before society was ready to recognize them. Okay. She didn't become a symbol through speeches, she became a symbol through competence. She became a symbol through her professionalism. She became a symbol through her refusal to let intimidation erase her place at a time when the country was determined to silence Black voices. Minnie Cox demonstrated something that has echoed across generations. Leadership doesn't require permission, it requires courage. Leadership doesn't require permission, it requires courage. Minnie Cox's story matters because it reminds us that the struggle for Black leadership didn't begin in the civil rights movements of the 1950s. It was already happening decades earlier. And it didn't die with Minnie Cox, just like it didn't die with Martin Luther King or the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Minnie Cox stood at the intersection of that history. A Black woman running a federal institution in Mississippi in the 1890s wasn't just unusual, it was revolutionary. She stood firm long enough for the highest office in the nation defended her right to serve. Our Tom the Bomb Sportsman of the Week is Minnie Cox, a name worth remembering, postmaster, pioneer, business builder, and a defender of dignity in a time that you tried to deny it. I'd like to thank and give credit to the African American History, buymeacoffee.com. How about we make this into a movie? What do you guys think about that? How about Felix? What do you think about this story being made into a movie? You think that one would be pretty good, Felix?
Yes.
Troy, what's your thoughts?
Well, one thing I'll say is, working on the history, research to be able to educate not only a lot of people in our audience, but me as well. We don't learn a lot of stuff in school about that. And going back to what you were saying about how she resigned, given the nature of the protection of her family, a lot of times people, it's not about what you do, it's what you inspire. Young Black kids and, young, white kids, young Spanish kids, they look up to certain, people who lead by example. And when you see people in that during that time frame who didn't really look the part representing such a high role, some people knew the impact they would have not only on the people around them but on the next generation. So, ultimately, this is great information to learn. Wish we knew more about it. I feel like as us as young, men out here, it's time for us to really learn our history more to be able to, learn from it and then be able to, go forward the right way. So good job.
I think a lot of people would like to see this as a movie. I almost could see Regina King playing this role. Gina says absolutely yes. Gina's like, hey Gina, Super Bowl winning Gina. Okay, hey gang,
Gina.
Troy, everybody loves Gina. Okay, hey gang, our trivia question today was, what school was the first undefeated NCAA men's national champion basketball team? Felix, you know who that is?
Georgetown?
Say again.
Georgetown?
Georgetown. Okay. No, no, no. Troy, who's the first NCAA national champion that went undefeated?
I'm gonna say UCLA.
UCLA. That's a good guess. That's a good guess.
That's going to be a second guess.
That's a good guess. The trivia answer is actually the University of San Francisco, the USF Dons, led by Hall of Famer Bill Russell and Casey Jones. The 1956 team made history by becoming the first ever to record an undefeated season, 29-0. Bill Russell averaged 21 points and 21 rebounds per game. In 1955, the Dons also won the national championship, but they went 28-1. And those two teams, they had a 60 game winning streak. Bill Russell also is one of 8 players to win the Triple Crown in 1956 as the NCAA Most Outstanding Player, and then winning a gold medal in the 1956 Olympics, and then an NBA championship that same year. And here are some other interesting information that you may not have known. Bill Russell was chosen second overall in 1956. Now, who took who took somebody over Bill Russell after he just won back-to-back national championships and he went second overall? Somebody explain that one to me. He went second in the NBA draft by the St. Louis Hawks, and then he was immediately traded to the Boston Celtics in 1956 for center Ed McCauley and small forward Cliff Hagan, Tom Hagen's brother, Nate. Okay. and, and the Celtics went on to win their first NBA championship in 1957. And then they won an NBA record 8 consecutive NBA championships from 1959 to 1966. So, okay, so the two questions that I have. Number one, who picked Bill Russell second? Cy Green was the number one overall pick, and he was drafted by the Rochester Royals. And that's the reason we don't know nothing about the Rochester Royals. Hey, Cy Green might have been a good player, but we don't know nothing about the Rochester Royals because they passed over Bill Russell, Mr. 11 ring Bill Russell. Second, why did the St. Louis Hawks trade Bill Russell on draft night? Well, the Hawks were supposedly cash strapped and they wanted proven pro talent over an unproven rookie in Bill Russell. You got to be kidding me. But come on, we know what this real reason was. Come on, being from the St. Louis area, I could tell you what the real reason was, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Coming, like I said, coming from center, I could tell you the reason. But one of the rumors was the ice capades factor. What are you talking about, Tom the Bomb? Well, the Celtics owner, Walter Brown, promised the Hawks owner that he would send the Ice Capades show to St. Louis as part of the trade for Bill Russell. This is widely regarded as one of the most lopsided trades in sports history, right up there with Babe Ruth, Lou Brock, and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is up there one of the greatest worst trades ever. Guys, what's your thoughts on that, Felix, Troy?
Wow. That is probably the best backstory for any not poll question, but weekly quiz that I've ever heard. If not one of the greatest. That was amazing.
Troy, you got any thoughts on that before we wrap up?
Now, yeah,
Oh,
like why'd you pass up
Bill Russell.
Why did Portland pass up on Michael Jordan to get Sam Booth?
There you go.
How does Jordan go 16th in that same draft class? So it's a lot of questions. A lot of times people just outthink themselves. Instead of just going with what the clear answer is.
Yeah.
They'll try to find a way to talk themselves out of it. So,
Well, well, you know what, Troy? That's a great point because nobody knew Michael Jordan was going to be Michael Jordan. But Bill Russell won back-to-back national championships and won 60 straight games. How do you not take this guy number one? That's well, I know how. We just won't talk about it on this episode. Hey, gang, that's our show for today. As usual, Felix and Troy, you guys were excellent, spot on. Hey, man, look, the NFL free agent friends is still going crazy. We could not cover it all because it's literally like blood in the water in shark infested water. It's just a frenzy. There's been probably 10 or 12 more trades since we've been on the air. So we'll have to follow up on those later. Hey, gang, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube. Hit that like bell, please. And please do me a favor and engage with me. Just say hello the way Gina just did. That really helps me when you guys just engage. If you're enjoying the content, and you'd like to bless our ministry, you can sow into the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk by cash apping us at $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. Again, that's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check out our website at www.tombombsports.com. We've got a whole section on there on the City of Champions. And just so you know, the Flyers basketball team is all gas and no brakes. They on the roll. They're heading for another state title in basketball. You can email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. That's info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, for a dynamic, in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Saturdays on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassey. His future so bright, he got to wear shades. Man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We don't take that for granted. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour out an abundance of blessings down on you that there just won't be room enough to contain it. Room enough to contain it. Listen, God wants to introduce you to abundance. He wants to blow your mind. He wants you to step into the overflow and step boldly into the grace of realm. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not necessarily a Thursday, just for you. And if you believe that, you will be saved. And that's all you got to do. You just got to get on the team. All you got to do to get on the team is make that confession and believe it in your heart. Okay. Tom the Bomb wants to leave you with a thought. Duct tape may patch a lot of things, but 3 nails fixed everything. Think about that for a second. 3 nails fixed that. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love could do that. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you on the same bat channel, on the same bat station, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Pacific. Felix, Troy, thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining us. God bless you. Have a good evening.
Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead, Troy.
One more thing before you go. Good luck to Eastside playing in the Super Sectional tonight against Springfield. They're 1 game away from the state finals in the 3A. Uncle Gus wanted to talk about that, so I just wanted to shout out Eastside.
Thank you for throwing that in there. Felix, you got any last thing you want to go?
That's it.
What's coming up, Lauren?
Selection Sunday will be on Sunday.
Dr. Lauren says
We'll
Selection
know
Sunday
who's
is coming up. Yes, we
by next Monday.
And the Big Ten tournament starts tomorrow. So we got a lot of sports coming up this weekend. We'll keep you guys informed. We'll see you guys next Monday. Tom the Bomb, Felix, Troy, and the lovely Dr. Lauren out.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles of mine stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight and soar out of darkness to its revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose I have to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life. Cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind. Ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light, and I give sight, leading lost souls to his glorious light. I am light.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time.